Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United of the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes now. New life for Sutton United. Sutton United, the National League, are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. I think we are actually live, so I may have cracked it. We may not be, but who knows? We might be live. So if you're listening live, just give us a shout, and well, I probably won't remember to look at it, but hello anyway. Joining me on today's episode, we have returning couple of guests. We have Joe, who's back after a few weeks. Hiya, Joe. You all right?
Yeah, Mike, I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. And we've also got the right to reply coming back after a few months and been shit talked, quite frankly, for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Is Josh, the nephew. Hello, Josh, podcast kid. How are you?
Hello. This name's come about in the last few weeks.
Well, it's better than the other name, Faint Boy.
Yeah, better than that. I'll take that one over that. Yeah. Nice to be here.
Good. Everyone was worried about you, but you want to let them all know you're all right.
Yeah, I'm all good, everyone. Sorry for the medical emergency. It wasn't during the game. Nothing had to be stopped, so I did it before. But I'm all good.
And we were ordered to leave just before Rob's penalty. We made the decision we're going to go. So we're going to have a lot to talk about, so we will get through it because we do have a Wimbledon guest hopefully joining us at some stage in the show as well. Goodness knows where to start. So I think I'm going to start with the breaking news. Joe, we'll start with you. What do you think about Dave coming home?
Very happy. The first time I came on here, we talked about, and we said he's not getting any game time at Peterborough. Reunion, he was obviously so good for us, Matt's first signing. And is obviously he'll play in the right wing, but does that up front the last few games playing for? I mean, he slots in there, or I don't know, because Josh has been very good for us. He's injected pace into the right, and it's just, I don't know. I feel that it could be a very good signing, but is he going to be the same player? Is he going to come back and play like he did last season, or is he not going to have that same, I don't know, one like he always did? And that's what kind of concern. But mainly, I'm just very happy he's back because I think that's a very good bit of business that we need. In just coming forward, because the amount of chances, amount of goals we actually score are disproportionate, to say the least. So I'm very, very happy to have him back. I just want to make a decent amount of playing time still fits into the side because he's still been good.
Yeah. Absolutely. And yourself, Josh, what are your thoughts?
Pretty much the same. I mean, it's great bit of business, but I'm looking at the amount of strikers we've got, and I'm thinking, where are they going to get the opportunities? They have a lot of strikers up there, and Killian, when he came on, I thought he was excellent. Last night, and so many other players. Now we've got Dave, and fans are gonna want him to start. I want him to start basically every game, but I think we need the quality back, and I think I do feel a bit sorry for Enzio. He had this opportunity there. Dave's gone. Yes, my time to shine, and he's back a few months later. So, but no, good business.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I'm just hoping we get Dave early part of last season, not second half of last season where perhaps he was worried about potentially moving. But he's a definite fans' favourite. It's a definite one for the fans. People have been talking about it for a few weeks. So, hopefully it gives us that bit of that boost, that motivation, another big player back. Talking of big player back, that leads me to see the smoothness of this now. It leads me into Ben coming back from injury. Josh, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on Ben Goodliff getting a nice 70 minutes last night?
I was happy that he got the 70 minutes. I wasn't expecting him to play. I thought it was January. I thought he was going to come back, and he's come back yesterday, and he did well. I thought a few times he was a bit edgy. He was like, get that ball away from me. I don't want it. A little bit of missed passes, but overall solid. Got that little bit of harmony in the defence, and he did all right for 70 minutes, and safe and sound in bubble wrap again until the next game. But yeah, good performance.
Next game Sunday. What were your thoughts? What were your thoughts, Joe?
Yeah, I couldn't really agree more. Few wayward clearances. Just that. He did very. I think I haven't seen our kind of for the ball so assured in a while. Whenever or went up for it, he didn't lose many headers, and I think okay with headers. I think we just had a bit more dominance in that front. I felt that we were getting. There was a bit more comfortable around that line. And adding on to what I said earlier, to Josh, Enzio has been starting to get better at that. He's not a right wing back by nature, but he's starting to really grow into that. Yesterday, I think we saw our defence apart from the goal, which it's grown into the game, but it didn't really do much. I think Enzio was good coming forward. I think Ben short at the back, no any major worries. Obviously, Sam went off. Overall, it was just there wasn't any moments where I thought there's something could go wrong here. When Aaron Pierre came on, then it was a bit wrong. He's a bit like Charlie Kendall in the sense he played made a brilliant tackle and then was out for another 2 months, and it's kind of just been a stop-start, so I'm not going to blame him for that. See Ben back in the side is a brilliant start. He's done brilliant with his recovery. To get an ACL in basically start of August, December, I think that shows commitment. I'm just a very lucky, very, very good to see him back in the side. I hope he's.
Yeah, it's definitely a terrible injury. He did say himself a few of the first early touches were shitting it a little bit, and we kind of said similar, didn't we, Josh? We were like, okay, just give it to someone who can pass the ball, just win it, give it. But yeah, Aaron as well had no real pre-season, needed time to get fit with us, got himself fit, got on for his first match, 8-10 minutes, and was out again. So he's going to need to rebuild again. But yeah, good to see both of them back. You've mentioned it, bit of a downside seeing Sam having to go off. We can kind of understand why there's the panic with obviously his various injuries that he's had, or neural condition it was described as. But Matt's interview afterwards did say it was just literally a nosebleed that had hopefully stopped now. It's actual words. So yeah, that was a couple of hours later. So hopefully it has. But on the game, the ref was a subject of a conversation or two. Josh, I was there with your thoughts. What did you think of the ref, Joe? What?
Yeah, I don't want to say anything bad against this refereeing because I have a horrible feeling that
we won.
Yeah, he did great.
We're allowed to slag off the ref.
he didn't give any penalties against us, so I loved him. No, it was just very odd. There were several these patterns of throw-ins, especially at the start of the second half, where we'd get so far and then it'd be headed out for a throw-in, and then there might be a little foul. He did that, but then there were several which were just cynical little fouls, which he would be giving smaller than that. Which is kind of a bit inconsistent, but we won, so I'm not complaining.
It's exactly what we were
Massively.
saying. Exactly what we were saying, Josh. The consistency is give it, don't give it, but be the same.
Yeah,
There was a
it's
worrying
terrible.
moment. I thought Ben had given away a penalty. Was that first half? I think it was first
Yeah.
half. First half. He was a little
Yeah,
bit
it was.
outpaced, and there was a definite push, but wasn't given for whatever reason. So, as you say, we love the ref when he does that. But overall, yeah, I mean, Josh's dad was with us last night, and he's essentially a neutral in these kind of things, and he said, I can't watch this. The referees will frustrate me at this level. So that tells us everything. But he's used to VAR in Premier League, so but we had a great cross from Eastley for Omar to then shoot, but miss and get an own goal again. It came off their defender for an Oggy instead.
We'll take it.
But well deserved at that point, I thought. Getting towards the 60-minute mark, I think we checked the league table, Josh, and at that point we had Tranmere and Doncaster drawing, Wimbledon losing, and we were up to 13th. We were like, "Way, what's all this?" And then suddenly remembered it's only 1-0, and they scored a goal. Have either of you watched it back again or not?
No. Yeah.
I was watching it live and I was thinking it was good. Yeah.
He got his feet wrong. Sorry, go on.
No, you go.
You. Well, I thought he got his feet wrong.
Who? This has gone so wrong. You go. You spit. Who?
Yeah, okay. I thought the guy got his feet wrong, and I was like, if he's going to shoot, that's going way over. And then he steadied himself and shot. That's what it looked like to me on the first viewing, and it went in. I thought he's got lucky there, really. But actually watching it back again, it was actually just a great hit. It was someone else that got in the way, I think. So, Joe, go on, your thoughts.
That's what you just said. Yeah, I was stood. I think where our dugout is, I was stood slightly to the right, so I got kind of the behind view of him, and just got completely blindsided by, I think it was Enzio. Was it Enzio? It was someone. It might have been, but I'm not sure it was. But it was a very good strike because he killed 3 bodies, and it was because of a dodgy clear. But we don't talk about that. He's still come back from injury. But it's fine. But it was a bit of a weird. I don't know. It was really well placed. I didn't power, I don't think, from what I could tell. It just kind of was well placed in a. I think Jack only saw it the moment it got past. If it's with such good accuracy, I think he could just not get there. I suppose it's making do of what you have. Gillingham didn't have anything in the first half. They were using the smallest striker, one of the smallest strikers I've ever seen, and to try and get in between our central defenders. And had nothing much. Had a swerving strike, but against Jack, who saved it well. But other than that, it was nothing. But I mean, if you take the chances, they took their chance because they saw it was massive bodies and a bit all at sea, which we can get like that. That was we were a bit flustered, but other than that, we were fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing in that they've scored over 25% of their league goals against us, and I think they're only 2 goals from set open play against us as well. But you know what, we can be charitable. Eastie was trying that, as again Ben described as toe curlers, all night, and it was getting a little bit. Why is he doing that? Why? And then he pops up in the 94th minute and scores a winner, and you're like, do what you like, it's fine. We've never doubted you, Eastie, at all. A little bit happy at that point, were we?
Yes, absolutely.
Just a bit.
Reaction.
Well, I had a bit of a mare because We had to go home because our last train was, we had to leave at 86.
Oh no, you were one of those that left.
I know, we had a met, and I was like, we could stay because there was one more train, and then we was like, we could get a string of buses. But I was like, I just had feeling it was going to be a 1-1 draw. I just didn't have great feeling. Just like, you know what? I don't want the stress of taking an hour and a half to go home rather than a 40-minute journey. So I was like, you know what? Let's go. A 1-1 draw. We'll say where we are, 15. And on the Sutton train home, no, I'm off the Thames Link. I'm waiting at Sutton, and I see Craig Eastman. And genuinely, I screamed. I scared him. I was one of the only people in the station screaming. I was like, yes! Ridiculous. But yeah, I was very happy. It just was not amongst many other very happy people. It was in a desolate station. Yeah, I'm sure if you had CCTV, you just see someone go like this randomly. But yeah, it was. From what I saw before I left, Tope and do very well, and I watched the highlights, and one of my mates who was still there filmed the bits of it, and they really kind of put a shift in. Because even when I think Killian came on just after the goal, and Killian was just being completely, no matter who's in my, and Tope was linking up with the midfielders, he was taking any shots. And not to criticise Omar and Donovan, but that personally for me, I think that is something that we need to do more of. We just need to take. I think we get so many chances at 20 yards out. Same we did it with Enzi. Chance in that last 10 minutes where we just shot, and it even though it didn't work, it worked in the end because Eastie was yards out, and he probably wouldn't have scored unless with a deflection. It was Tope and Killian have just that hunger to be in that side, and I don't know if maybe Matt gives them a game in a midweek game in January, February, and just says, right, you two start up front and show us that hunger, because we've seen it before in the Papa John's Trophy, and I just think maybe right and Will on the left, I think that could be 4 players who want really aggression, and with just that determination, can we just get more shots on target? Because I think that if we get those, then we create chances for ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, your favourite Ali last night was seemed to be a bit shot shy as well. There was a couple of times you're like, shoot, trigger, no, why is he looking for the pass? So
Yeah.
Don't know what's going on there, but we got the win. We're happy with the win.
We are.
Matt made a very, very good point, I thought, in his interview afterwards. Gillingham will probably feel like they were robbed a little bit and should have got a draw. However, we felt we were robbed and should have got a draw up at their place. If we'd both drawn, if we'd drawn both, we would have both had 2 points. But as it is, we feel robbed and we've got 3 points. We're both actually a point better off than we would have been if we got what we actually deserved from the game. So it's not bad at all, really. Right, I did ask some people for some messages. Only one's responded, so thanks everyone. So I'm just going to play a clip from Gabriel and see what you guys think afterwards as well. He's just got his little thoughts on the game and so on. And while you're listening to this, have a little think, because I will be coming back to you for the player of the day as well. So I think it's about a minute or so.
Hi, Mike. Greetings from Bucharest. To me, this result puts behind for good the worries about relegation, which, in my opinion, were quite real at a certain point when we linked 10 games in which we were last in the form guide, having only 8 points out of 10 games, and very, very few goals scored. What changed in the last 6 games was rather the confidence, the fighting spirit, and defensive organization, which is more, even before getting Ben back, more at the last year's level. If we want to speak about a playoff bid, we should somehow sort also the offensive situation, in which, okay, Bugil had very good games lately, but there's no one there to help him. So I really hope that the latest good results haven't put the board off the idea that we still need some reinforcement in the offensive department. It will be a very interesting game on Sunday against Wimbledon, and I'm really sorry that I will miss it. I will certainly watch it on iFollow, and I really hope our string of wins against Wimbledon will carry on, as they're undefeated since our last game against them.
So we jumped ahead a little bit with the thoughts of Wimbledon, but in general, similar to what we were saying, is we've got Omar who seems to be doing a lot of donkey work with no one up there to help him out at the moment. Some of it's dated because obviously we've signed Dave since he sent the message through. But what were your thoughts on that, Josh? Similar? Agree? Disagree with any of that?
Yeah, I agree. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I just realised.
Sorry, you can hear me. That's fine. Yeah, no, I agree. I thought, yeah, with the point about Omar doing most of the work, I was expecting him to him and Josh to work better. Omar to be kind of the hold-up play, and Josh making a run in. I mean, Tope did it amazingly when he came on, and a hold-up play. You could see that last night. Omar was trying to do that, but throughout the game, he just had 2 or 3 players on him at all times. It's just every throw in, every corner, they just swarm on him. He's got like 2 or 3 bodies, and then it's really hard for him to get a look in. But no, I think attacking wise, we were good. First half, there were some moments where we did some crisp passing. He was moving a bit faster. We're getting out to the wings faster, getting crosses in. That's what I liked more. We were getting crosses. Will keeps cutting in side. That's one thing I'd love him to change up a little bit, because he was getting predictable, and the Gillingham players were knowing that he's going to cut inside, and then they'd break off of it. But apart from that, I mean, it was a right attacking performance. I just think I'd like to see Omar get in the box, be like a more, like a poaching, get into the areas for the cross, and kind of what he did with his goal. I'd like to see him in those positions more, or he needs to hold up play, which then Josh needs to be closer to him and link up more. Yeah, that's what I think.
True, lovely. And Joe, your thoughts? Gabriel said.
With the fact that like relegation, I think is pretty much. I don't. We've got the strength. And I'm going to throw this back in 5 months. Please don't. No, forget I said that. Start again.
Crawley plus 1. That's what it's going to be. Let's be honest. No. Circus plus 1. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think Josh said agree about Omar. This is going to be a bit of a controversial take, but I'm willing to put myself out here with it. Donovan, give us over Tope or Killian in the sub.
Yeah,
I know, like he's the more experienced than the other two. Well, I think that's 22, but Donovan scored at Doncaster, and he scored. Is that it?
Northampton, I think.
Northampton. Yeah, he scored at Northampton to make it 2-1. Like that. He's out and out. He's meant to be. Yeah, and Tope scored more than him in such appearances against Mansfield, Barrow, Chelsea. If he had more chances, like he could have scored against Wimbledon. It's not like he's not trying.
He should have scored.
He should have scored, but we will. Brilliantly. I think we will. I think that Josh and I thought it would be a bit of a better solution. I think Josh was very, very good in September, October, but much to work with in the rest of the team. He was brilliant against Mansfield, brilliant. I don't know who against Harrogate, and I think we just don't have that. And I know that this is going to wind you up because we've got about 50 strikers. If we need to offload a striker, I don't know because Kwame Thomas hasn't done much.
Yeah, I suspect we're going to Kwame and Charlie are going to be moved on. I don't know, obviously, if there's any plan for either top 8 or Killian to go back out on loan to get the game time. Yeah, it's the game time they need. I think Donovan, when he got suspended for 3 games, he was vastly missed, and I think people realised a lot of the work he did when he wasn't there to do it. But yeah, absolutely, we don't play to his strengths. This is why we had a bit of a joke a few weeks ago when people were saying Holland should come out to a League 1, League 2 club, and we're like, well, there's no point coming to Sutton. We'll absolutely ruin him. He'd go back and never score again. But we are going to move on. But before we do, I do want your thoughts. So it's going to be, luckily I get away with it because there's 2 of you. So it's going to be your choice of player of the day. We'll start with you, Joe, in just 1 sec.
Now watch me do my dance. I'm the player of the day.
So, Joe, give us your first choice.
Okay. I'm gonna go. You know what? I think he was so good when coming up. I'm gonna get Tope.
Tope? Lovely.
I think he did change the game. I know it.
Excellent.
I'm not discounting anyone else's performance. I just think I think he changed the game.
No, it's a player of the day. You can nominate him for any reason you like. It's not man of the match. It's player of the day. So whatever you like. Josh, go on, your first one.
I have to go for Eastie. I have to. The man's got an assist and a brilliant assist. A last minute goal. I have to choose him. He was brilliant for me.
Technically, has he got the assist? Because
Omar
crossed the ball into the defender to
the cross was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
The cross was absolutely
I'm not disagreeing
amazing.
with you at all. Don't worry. I agree. And Joe, your second choice.
Eastie would have been my second choice. I think as Enzio.
Enzio, lovely.
I think he did better. That sounds harsh. No. Right wing back, I think he played very well coming forward and on the overlap. I think I maybe at points was a lot more dangerous than Will yesterday. Became predictable. So I think Enzio deserves it.
Yeah, he had to. So he was supposed to be playing on the right wing and ended up playing left back. So yeah, that's fine. And Josh, your second and final choice.
I'm going to go Killian. I thought he was absolutely amazing when he came on. Again, I mean, he looks just a little bit more direct. Right, I want this ball. I want to go. Let's get this goal. Let's get this attack going. And then he was able to beat the man. He was holding it up. And I just thought when he came on, he was absolutely brilliant for me.
Okay. Well, be ready to get some pelters on Twitter. Don't worry, people will be like, you can't. Neither of you on Twitter, so it doesn't matter. It's fine. Right, we are going to move on because very, very patiently, and I'm so sorry, we have Ben, who may have gone off to make a cup of tea. I don't know. Ben, are you with us? He is there.
I am.
Thank you for being so patient, Ben. He has gone now, isn't he?
He's gone.
He's gone.
He's gone now. Okay.
Unbelievable. I just got to the point of introducing him,
back.
and he went,
here
he is. He's back again. I was just going to say he's in Wales and he's lost his internet.
There we go.
So, Ben, you're a Wimbledon supporter.
I am indeed. Yep.
We first started knowing you 5 years ago or so when we were doing the cup run, and people were going, "No, we're not talking to this bloke because he works for a publication." And then we realised, actually, no, he's all right. We don't mind him at all.
But I used to live in Sutton. I used to live on Whittaker Road, so always going to watch Sutton as much as I could. and I've got a good few friends there as well. So I've got
gonna
got a
say,
foot in
been
two
told-
camps at the moment.
Yeah, I've been told that some of your friends. I wouldn't be claiming them if I were you. But just tell us a little bit about yourself and your Wimbledon supporting things. Essentially, it's who are you? Don't cringe, you two. Don't cringe. It's funny.
Jesus.
It's
This
funny.
is my uncle, man. This is my uncle.
I'm so sorry.
I am Ben Hunt and a long-suffering Wimbledon fan, and I'm also F1 journalist at the Sun. So I spend most of my time doing that, and when I'm back, I'm watching Wimbledon. So yeah.
Okay, so this is
Whoa.
why I got these two boys. Oh, I didn't necessarily know about Joe, but Josh, I know, is a massive F1 fan. So I was like, right,
You're a big F1
guys
fan.
do this.
Oh
There we
my
go.
God.
So Ben, do you want to explain, or do you remember why it was you couldn't come on to do the previous one? What the conversation was?
I can't remember. Where was I? Was I going to Abu Dhabi or Mexico or Austin?
You were already there, and I'm like,
Okay.
and you were like,
That's it.
oh, can we do it at such and such time? And I'm like, oh, that's a really weird, awkward time. Why is
Yeah.
that? And you're like, well, I'm in Abu Dhabi at the moment. I'm like, why is he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember his job. No, we'll scrub it till next time. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite difficult. I'm probably away. My wife tells me she keeps a tally of these days, but I'm away for something like 140 days a year. So
Wow.
it makes it quite hard watching football. iFollow's helped and being able to do that. But I've also moved. I'm in Chichester now, so I'm no longer in Sutton. So I'm even further away from Wimbledon. But I do get back and I watch them as much as I can. I watched the win over Leyton Orient recently, and like everyone else, I follow when you can.
Yeah, absolutely. So the last few seasons have been good rise, but the last couple seasons not so great.
Yeah, I think it was inevitable. We knew that we would struggle in League One. We didn't have the budget to compete. We obviously had the debt at the ground and everything else to worry about. But I think it was no surprise. I say no surprise to go out of League One. I think the way that we did it was a surprise, bearing in mind we didn't, win for something like, what was it, 10 months, 11 months? There's some ridiculous statistic. And yet it still come down to the last day of the season, and then we were eventually pushed through. And I thought, okay, well, let's see how we go. We had a fairly good pre-season, but then we started pretty badly in League Two. And I thought, oh no, here we go. New manager, things aren't quite working. But thankfully, we've stuck by him, and we're making a little bit of progress. I think, like yourselves, you had a bit of a tough start to the year. The second season's always tough, in the Football League, and I think Wimbledon found that as well. But yeah, I mean, we're both sort of hitting form now at the key time. Over Christmas, you need to get as many points as possible, and then the idea is to keep it going until the end. But I think my biggest concern isn't really the Sutton game. I think it's the transfer window and potentially losing a couple of our players. I think that's always been the Wimbledon way ever since, when we used to be in the Premier League and those sort of days. You always fear about losing your top players, and that's what I'm worried about. Ayuba Sal's definitely one that I don't want to see go, but he's definitely capable of playing, Championship even at the moment. So very good player.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking for a few old sort of comments and tweets, and something came up about the game that we played at your place back in October. And it's quite funny to sort of read through how many of them were saying that Johnny Jackson's got to go. That's it.
Yeah.
End of.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a bit of a war, and it was.
Well, they always are. Look, these Wimbledon Sutton games, I can't remember a friendly one. There's always something, isn't there? I mean, that FA Cup game at Gander Green Lane, and I remember getting roughed up there, and then going to Kings Meadow, it was even worse. And I remember Craig Eastman's tackle, and I think Wimbledon fans still haven't got over that.
I maintain, and I've said it for ages, that tackle was what won the game. Because at that point, we were all really quiet.
Yeah.
And we weren't doing much. And it was a good tackle. We have watched it back many times on YouTube. And because you guys were giving him such stick, it kind of woke us all up to go, nah, we're not having this, and then we really didn't stop then for the rest of the game.
No, I mean, I really like Craig, and he was great during that FA Cup run, and talking to him and spending quite a bit of time with him. I kind of learned to respect him, so much as a pro, and he's a fantastic player. I'm very glad that he stayed at Sutton because he's a real footballer and a real person. And I think he encapsulates so much of that spirit. And listening to you guys talking about that, the game at Gillingham, to me it sounds like he's the man that sort of spearheaded that. I know that players come off the bench and did bits and bobs, but ultimately he's the driving force. And when he has a good day, the team is simply unstoppable. And he has that ability to get revved up for these Wimbledon games, and I'm fearing the worst again from him.
Yeah, he does very fit nicely into the whole ethos of the shithousery.
Yes.
We do
Well, the thing is, we have our own now in Harry Pell, who's a master at this, and it was so funny watching the game against Leyton Orient and watching how wound up they were getting. It's frustrating, but that is part of football now, isn't it? We talk about winning free kicks and winning fouls, and all of a sudden that's now just part of the language of football. And I don't like it, but unfortunately that's just where we're at. And he's pretty good at it, so it'll be interesting watching those two in the middle of the park.
Yeah, I have a very distinct line between the shithousery, which is bending on the cheating. I think there was someone on Twitter the other day that showed, I can't remember which game it was, but someone just blatantly diving and no one else around him, and they go, I can't stand this kind of shit. And I'm like, that's cheating. That's a definite cheat. That's not. Yeah, if there's contact or anything and you make the most of it, that's one thing. The only thing that I do get sometimes frustrated is when he does his little jumping to the floor and the play doesn't stop. And it's like, now you've got a break on, but he's very good at it. Love him to pieces. And can't believe he's only 32 years of age. He seems to be with us for forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got two young, I think, fullbacks or wingbacks.
Yeah, we have. Both come through the academy. And I think that they're probably at the moment probably the best fullbacks in the league. Two very, very good players, good going forward, but defensively as well, they're very strong. And it's an incredibly young team. I think we went down last year, but the average age at one point was something like 22 years and 3 or 4 months. It was the youngest team in the whole of the Football League, and obviously I would imagine non-league as well. So it's an incredibly youthful team. We've added a bit more experience, but it's still quite a young side. The old heads like Chris Gunter, which brings everything down, and Pierce at the back. But they're not playing at the moment because the guys that have stepped in have done a really good job while they've been away. So, they're going to be on the bench. I think we're going to be, a fairly young team. Probably Woodyard will probably be the oldest player there, and he'll play in the middle of the park. But generally, I think it's quite good. We've got quite a good mix there at the moment.
Yeah, and you've got a very good goalkeeper who we're very much looking forward to welcoming back. Hopefully, he'll get.
Yeah, he was good for you guys, and he's been good for us in parts. I mean, there's a few mistakes he made last year. When we were going down, and a lot of the fans started picking on him. But he's now done over 100 appearances for the club, and it's great that they have stuck by him because I do think he is a class act and class goalie.
Yeah, and I think we get that a bit more. We understand it a bit more, like Joe and Josh. If a player comes in, he's absolutely perfect and wonderful, never makes a mistake. He's not playing with you for very long. He's off on his way somewhere else. Yeah. So all players are going to have certain limitations. Yeah. And it's the fan base needs to kind of understand that and cut your cloth.
We're all very fickle, aren't we?
Yeah. But what do we think about playing on Sunday? I'm just going to get thrown completely on Saturday morning, wandering around going, what am I supposed to be doing today? But how do we think the game's going to go? Joe, how do you see it going?
Well, I was gutted to miss the. I didn't realise that the tickets were going on sale at 9 a.m. and I was in a Spanish lesson. So then I phone at break. So they were all gone, screamed and moved on. But we move on. I kind of just think I think it'll be a brilliant atmosphere. It's sold out, which is some big thing for Sutton. Last night's attendance, to be fair, was pretty good. 3-3 for a 3.
3-3. It was good.
So
it didn't
I was
seem like that.
I know it didn't, but I suppose there are a lot of. But I think it will be I think it'll be on the pitch less so. I think it'll be very feisty. I think you'll go some of that fighting spirit that we had in that last 15 minutes. I hope we have that just drive to, in the nicest possible sense, get 6 points over on them because be a lovely thing to do. I think it will be very. I don't think that you guys are about 4 positions above us, but you're about 3 points ahead.
Yeah.
I think it's point even closer. So I think it's just whoever turns up on the day and whoever it with complete and just throws yourself into it. And I think from what I can tell, we're both form, and I think it could be. I think I have a horrible feeling that it could be like a 3-2 or like a 4-3. I think. I think it could be very open. I don't know which way that will go, but I think it could be it will either be very cagey, very edgy, lots of little fouls, scrappy, or it could be. I think it could be a fun game to watch between two sides trying to just throw their absolute best at each other.
Oh, you poor sweet boy. It's never going to be a fun game to watch. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be... Louis caused all sorts of eruptions. Well, your Papa John's keeper caused all sorts of eruptions at the end of the Papa John's match.
Yeah.
Apparently, he was having a go at the fans, and Louis was like, "I'm not having that." And then, as they all steamed over, I'm checking off names, going, "Right, who's not there? Come on." But so I love that kind of thing because it's like there's the togetherness. But Josh, what do you see happening? What do you think is going to be?
Well, we were at that away fixture, and to be honest, I think the first 5 minutes will be crucial. I can't remember the name of the massive guy in your midfield, the really tall one.
That's probably Harry Pell.
Yeah,
I think so. And it was a challenge near us where you got into the box and referee kind of like booked him for simulation or something like that. And from that point on, the whole team looked disjointed from Wimbledon. For me, he was in the middle of the park, he was screaming at everyone, but not like, constructive, like do this, do that. It was literally having to go. And I felt, and then it depends if you take your chances as well, because there were many chances early on against us where I think it was a striker missed from 2 yards out. I was like, I thought it was in. I thought it was in. I was like, oh my god, how is he hit? It's gone off the post or he's missed. So I think you have the the firepower up front to cause us trouble. Well, I think yesterday our defensive performance was good, and I think it's going to be a very close match. There's going to be, I think, many chances. I'm hoping many chances. It just depends who gets under other person's skin, and if whoever does that, I think is going to have the best chance of winning. Because I felt, yes, we got that win, but points in that game, I was thinking Wimbledon should score here. You were having really good chances. I just felt you were a little bit rattled, But no, I think it should be a good game. Hopefully. Yeah.
Again, sweet boy. Come on, Ben. Let's be realistic.
Yeah. I think it is going to be a feisty affair. I think we had a red card a couple of days ago, but that's been overturned. I think there will be bookings. I'd probably see a red card. I think for me the key is Ayub Assal, who I mentioned earlier on. If he's given any sort of freedom, then he can cause Sutton big problems. I would imagine, though, that he will be targeted, and I think he'll be roughed up. And I think that is the key battle. The opening 15 minutes is very interesting to see how Sutton cope with him, how they deal with him, how he deals with it, and how Wimbledon respond. I think that for me is the key battle, and I think it is an early one just to see how it goes. But I think the longer that the game goes on, I think Wimbledon stronger now than we were at the start of the year. We went a goal behind yesterday, last night. I'm confused with all the days. Thursday is just such a weird day to play football, but yeah, we went a goal down and then come back and won 2-1. And Wimbledon don't usually have that fighting spirit at the moment. It's usually if you go behind, then we concede a couple more, and then it's kind of a bit of a damp squib at the end of the match. But the fact that we did overturn that was quite impressive yesterday. So I'm hoping that we're finding some sort of steely resolve as well, because we've got this unbeaten run going. We want to obviously keep it going, but of course with that brings more pressure. And yeah, I just don't want it to end against Sutton. That's all.
Well, I'm kind of like, actually, we've got over this Christmas period, we've done 6 points already. So if we end up with a draw, I'm not too bothered. It's a nice unbeaten run over Christmas. Someone did point out that our Christmas period last year we had a 100% record, and there's only a few clubs that can get a 100% record, and we're one of them for this year as well. So that also would be quite nice to do. But I feel it's going to be a slog for both sets of fans, and we're all going to be make sure you double sock it because it's going to be cold. And
it will be unpredictable. I mean, we was in the Papa John's again. Was it earlier this week? I don't know, but we were 3-0 up at half time and end up losing on penalties. We have that ability just to sometimes ship a big lead, and that's why I say it was quite good that we managed to turn it around yesterday. I'm hoping for more of the same, but I think it will be a few goals, plenty of excitement, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a red card.
Perfect. So
Love that.
that does wrap it up, guys. Thank you all for your time. Thank you for letting me intrude onto the sort of Twixmas, as everyone calls it. You got to spend some time with your family, Ben, so she'll then go, right, actually, you better go now, go and get out. So after the Wimbledon game, it's the 100th episode. So you lot are on episode 99, so sorry about that. So 100th episode, I should be joined by Dan and Claire and Andy. There's nothing special planned. I haven't got any jingles or anything lined up yet, but I have a whole weekend.
Well, if you beat Wimbledon, surely there must be a jingle.
There'll have to be something I'll think of. But yeah, we're on all your normal platforms. Give us a shout out on all social medias at Sutton Podcast, and we will see you soon. So take care. Thanks for joining in. Bye.